Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. I am Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, with you as usual. I am, however, today with you for a little bit less of a time than usual. I have to end early today because I've heard that the the Harnkegger games, yes, are supposed to be starting at 2. So I wanted to make sure to be clear in time to allow those to go on as scheduled. Happy to share the channel with an event like that. So anyway. I just wanted to let you know that that's happening and that we are going to have to be ending a little bit early today. However, I have a piece of good news to counteract that, which is, just in case you were tempted to feel disappointed at a slightly truncated Grifflet episode today, I have two pieces of good news to counter that. Number one, you may remember that a while back I was talking about how I was invited to go down to Turbine and do a podcast there with Mike Drought and Chris Pearson. And then it got canceled because of technical difficulties and equipment failure down at Turbine. Well, it's back. We have now made us, and it's soon, moreover, we have made an appointment for this coming Thursday, the 15th of September. Thursday the 15th at 2 p.m. is the scheduled time. And so far, I believe, everybody can make it. This looks like it's a thing that's actually going to work out. So that's pretty exciting. So that's one small piece of sort of compensation to well, not reward you, compensate you, I suppose, for a shorter stream today. But here's the other. And this is actually even more direct. In case you're feeling a little bit ripped off for not getting as much Grifflet today. Coming up soon, starting in 2 weeks, on the 22nd of September, is the annual fall fundraiser for Signum University, my university of which I'm the president, and the one who is who funds all of our events and everything. So all of the free stuff that we do, we're starting our fundraiser, our big annual fundraiser for that in September on Bilbo's birthday. There are going to be a bunch of special events that we do during the fundraiser, and several of them are going to be LOTRO related. And I can tell you one of the things that I'm thinking of. I am contemplating, for the fundraiser, doing a Grifflet marathon. And not just a Grifflet marathon. I am thinking of, I want to try something, which is, I want to see if I can get Grifflet all the way through Moria in one go. I'm going to have one sitting. I'm going to do Moria. I'm going to go from the West Gate to the Dimrill Dale in one day with Grifflet in the quest. So that's the plan. Okay. I haven't set a definite date for that. I'm thinking, though, my provisional date for that is maybe the first Saturday of October. So I'm thinking of that. And if we hit our fundraising targets, I might be able to do a follow-up marathon with my guardian character, Wigand, in Rohan. He's to actually get him across the river into Rohan and get my war steed and everything, so that you can you can watch me learn how to do ride my war steed, which should certainly be high comedy. So okay, that's the stuff that's coming up. But now let's take advantage of all the rest of the time we have. I see that yes, Grifflet has been. Oh yeah, you're right here. You're next to the workbench, right? Yes, you're doing a little light crafting, Grifflet, and now you're just enjoying the view. It is a gorgeous view. Cowendham is so beautiful. I love the blossoms here. Yeah, certainly a very peaceful view there, Grifflet. I can understand why you're up here. But let's get back to work. So why don't you jump off the cliff and let's get going. All right. Oh, one cliff, right, per skill usage. Yeah, forgot about that. That's all right. Anyway, here you are. Look at that, right next to the stable master. That was very efficient, Grifflet. Okay, because we need to get to Suri Kaila. Yeah, how can you help me with that? Let's see. Let's go to Westbury. Wait, no, forget that. forget that, because we're not going to be able to travel to Surikawa anyway. I think we still have... Oh, right, Kurulairi. Yeah, close enough. Closer anyway. So yeah, let's get up to Forikal, and then we will travel from there. And in the meantime, we can do some lore talking here. Okay. All right. That's right. This is the one with the stable master, my unfriend. Yes, sadly. Okay. All right. Let's see. Were there other? Oh, okay. Yes, I think we got one at the end of last time. I think. We got this lore question from Isuman, I think, right? Didn't that come in at the end of last time and then I missed it? Do I think that the way Elendil's tomb was created was an attempt by the Gondorians to recreate the Meneltarma? Elendil's tomb, you mean, of course, not the one in game, right? But the not the one in game, but the Elendil's tomb up on the Halifirian, right, where Círdan and Eorl swore the oath, right? I assume is the one that you're talking about. Well, certainly. The Halifirian, the holy mountain, right, the holy place, certainly does suggest it. As far as recreating, well, okay, let me back up. Let's back up a couple steps here. The Meneltarma. What on earth are we talking about? Okay, so the Meneltarma, of course, was the highest peak on the island of Numenor, and the Meneltarma is an extremely interesting thing in Tolkien's world, because it's one of the only things... no, scratch that. It is the only thing that we see anywhere in Tolkien's Middle-earth writings, which is something like a temple or holy place dedicated to Eru, to God. The blasphemous temple to Morgoth is explicitly a temple, and there are other temples, some of which seem to be set up like to Sauron in later ages by the people who worship him. But there's almost nowhere that we see an actual a physical location dedicated to the worship of Iluvatar. The only place we see that is on the Meneltarma in the island of Numenor. There's no structure there's no temple or church sort of building. It's just the high place is very difficult to access. High place, there's a stair that goes up, but it was not, even that was not a location of, let me check and make sure I'm going in the general right direction. Yeah, we're okay. Anyway, the purpose of the Meneltarma itself was not exactly it certainly wasn't for regular worship, right? It's not like they had weekly worship services up there or something like that. There was only a couple occasions a year in which the king, and not even everybody, so it's not like it was open access. They didn't go up there that often, and not everybody went up there, and only the king could speak up there. It was a place where it was more, again, it's not even exactly like this is the place where we go to worship Iluvatar. Again, it's not like a church, it's not like a temple, and it's certainly not like, wow, what a crowd. Look at these guys. What is this, an ambush? Are they ambushing somebody? Is it me? Anyway, it's certainly not a place where, like, thinking of, for instance, the Jewish temple in Jerusalem, right? The significance of the Jewish temple, the great significance, like that was the place where God dwelt in this, very special way. God's presence was there in a very particular way. So that Meneltarma, that's not what the Meneltarma was about either. Again, it's not about God's presence. It's not about even really exactly. It was a sort of a sacred spot. Where's the door to this place? Am I down here? Yeah, I still got to go around. Okay. So it's not where Numenorians would go to like get closer to God or something like that. Again, that just doesn't seem to be what the Meneltarma was really about. It does seem to be about, it was the place where they would go to give reverence, to show reverence to Iluvatar.
What do you need?
The Eagles of Manwë would be up there. Take me the slow way to Surikaila, please. And so they would have these special observances. Was it once or twice a year, I think, up there? And again, only the king could speak. So you see that the fact that you had to be silent on the Meneltarma shows it's not a place which is about, like, it's not like the place where you go to talk with God or the place you go to hang out with Iluvatar. Rather, it's the place where Iluvatar and his connection with the world, like the crops that he blesses and everything like that, are especially remembered and reverenced. You see what I mean by that distinction? So that's what the Meneltarma was about. Now, so the Tomb of Elendil and the Halathirion, so when Elendil died, by the way, this is a much later story, certainly much later than the story of Numenor and the Meneltarma. It's post Lord of the Rings. The Tomb of Elendil, there's really no reason to think that the concept of the Tomb of Elendil existed prior to the Lord of the Rings. The Halathirion, the Holy Mountain, is mentioned, of course, by name. As one of the beacons is there, but it's not associated with this kind. So that sense, like the word, the Anglo-Saxon word "hali," which is where the modern English word "holy" comes from, is already associated with it. But we're not told the story behind that. It's one of those things that's never really explained. So the Tomb of Elendil seems to be a concept that Tolkien developed during the post-Lord of the Rings period, when he was spending a lot of time filling in gaps and things. Like, that's where you get several of those stories that are in Unfinished Tales, right? Like the disaster of the Gladden Fields, when he went through and imagined much more clearly what the defeat of Isildur and the losing of the ring was like, right? How that actually happened and came about, even down to like the actual tactical features of the battle, and almost as if to answer the question, how was it, if Isildur and the Númenóreans were all that, how is it that they got ambushed and slaughtered by these orcs, right? How did that happen? So the tactical description seems almost calculated to answer that question. Sorry, I'm just going to enjoy the northern lights here as I ride along. We've got similarly his description of the Battle of the Fords of Isen and the death of Theodred is all, it comes from there as well, and is all told there. So we have this this desire by Tolkien, apparently this desire to sort of fill in some of these gaps and explain some of this stuff. That's the period in which he invents the story of the Tomb of Elendil. Okay, so context now. So the story. So apparently the story goes that after Elendil dies, of course, Elendil's body is brought back from Dagorlad, and Isildur makes a tomb for it. But he doesn't bury him in Gondor. He does not bury, you'd think. In fact, I remember when I was younger assuming that Elendil was buried in the Silent Street. That he was like the first of the kings of Gondor, right? Where the kings of Gondor are buried, because he would have been brought back and buried by his sons, right? Presumably. Well, son, one of them was predeceased him. But anyway, okay, so, but that's, of course, we learn later on, not the case. Isildur made a tomb for him, but he makes a secret tomb for him, and he takes his father's body to this mountain and creates this sort of sacred space there, okay? And it is hallowed to the memory of Elendil. So Elendil's tomb is made there, and nobody's allowed to go there. In fact, the location of it is a closely guarded secret, known only to the heirs of Elendil. And the stewards got let into this, which is how the stewards ended. This was why it wasn't lost when the heirs of Elendil eventually died out. But a very, very, very small number of people know about it. And it's a place... and this is so the main thing that it has in common with the Meneltarma, it certainly has a bunch of elements in common with the Meneltarma. It's a high place, for one. It's not as high and prominent as the Meneltarma. It's not like the highest place all over, all around. But it's a mountaintop, so that counts. It's a place of sacred silence. You're not supposed, speaking there is a really big deal. Isildur uses it like the oath, you swear oaths there. That's why Cirion takes Eorl the Young there, which is a big deal. To take an outsider, to take Eorl the Young, Cirion is really kind of stretching a point to do it, and it gives to the oath that they swear there a very sort of deep solemnity, right? Not to mention the fact that Cirion swears a really startling oath. That is, the actual text of his oath is quite striking on its own, but it's made impactful initially by the context, the geographical and sort of cultural context of that spot. But so it's unlike the Meneltarma, it's secret. The Meneltarma was a very public place. Well, public in the sense that everybody knew about it, right? But not public in the sense that it was a place of common resort, right? People didn't go there. People didn't hang out there. Only the king and the people along with the king went up there, on those couple of occasions. So they kind of one up the Meneltarma in that sense of making it actually secret, so that people don't even know where it is, and nobody knows where Elendil's body is hidden. The fact that it's a tomb, of course, is another major difference. It's not just a place where you go to worship, even in this different kind of way. It's not a place of where you go to think about God, where you go to sort of acknowledge God and thank him for his bounty, which is what the Númenórean king was doing there. It's a place to remember Elendil. Instead, it's a tomb, and that gives it a very, very different kind of place. So were the Gondorians trying to recreate the Meneltarma? No, because it didn't have anything like the same function. The function of it is quite different. But does it have some elements in common with the Meneltarma? Yeah, definitely. I find the Tomb of Elendil a really interesting idea, basically, in Tolkien's world. And it's an idea, I have to admit, that I'm not 100% sure that I totally get. What is really the full significance, the full import of this place, right? Of this whole idea. Why did they want to keep his tomb so secret? Why should the spot of his tomb become this sacred, hallowed place? That it would become hallowed, you could say, is out of respect for Elendil, but it goes beyond respect for Elendil, right? I mean, in fact, it seems to be kind of the idea, or the theme of it, seems to connect not with Elendil, but with Númenor itself, right? Elendil, as the last of the kings who came from Númenor. I mean, Isildur is, from Númenor. He was born in Númenor as well, but he wasn't king. He wasn't the leader. I mean, of course, Elendil wasn't king either. I know, not king of Númenor, but anyway, when he came over, he was king, right? Isildur is sort of separating himself from that. But anyway, the point is, Elendil is tied to Númenor. The death of Elendil is like the death of, it's the tie back to the old country lost, right? So the reverence, the particular flavor of the reverence there that's being given to Elendil seems to parallel him with Númenor itself, right? The body of Elendil is gone and inaccessible, right? And hidden away, just as Númenor has been taken away and you can't return to it. So having Elendil's tomb be something which the people don't even know where it is, and they can't go to visit the tomb of Elendil and give reverence to their king, right? That's an odd kind of choice, in a sense, by Isildur. Why should he do that? But in a way, you could say it kind of makes a certain amount of sense, if you think about it that way, if you think about it in terms of the parallel with Númenor itself. It kind of works, so in that way, and in that very indirect way, that it's parallel with the Meneltarma in the sense that it's connected with Númenor, and it's a high place, and there's supposed to be a sacred silence about it and everything. And no one but the king can go, right? But the king's dead, so nobody goes, right? It works in that way, in a sense, in a very loose sense, as a parallel to the Meneltarma, but certainly functionally, it's not designed to be a parallel. But anyway, so thanks for that question. I haven't. It's fun to think through the Tomb of Elendil a little bit more. I find it really fascinating. And in the meantime, the Tomb of Elendil got us all the way across Forakel again, and here's Iriana. So, okay, Iriana, this is complicated. We'd need... No. Okay, the Angmarim are trying to use the forges of Eregion, which have been gone for a long time, but they have a tool that they stole from a tomb in Brioand, and they need bellows made out of the hide of a particular dragon, apparently. But that particular dragon is dead, but that's okay. His body is in the Misty Mountains, and it's been reanimated as a zombie, which is unfortunate. But the Angmarim, I guess, are going to be pursuing him, and I'm supposed to ask you about something. I don't remember what, though.
Speaks your name.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. When we talked about Laerden here, Iriana, don't pretend you don't know me here. I don't know. What does he wish of the? Okay. Yeah. The Vanavaki sends you to find the lair of the great Lohikarme, the creature called Bregmore. Right, yeah, because you know where the lair is, so that you can tell me where that is, and I can go there to attempt to prevent the Angmarim from getting his hide to make bellows out of. Right, naturally. Okay, I know somewhat of him, though I have never seen him. It is told among the Lumivaki that Bregmore was once the scourge of these cold lands. Okay, many hunters tracked him, but none ever returned. It came to be that one day Bregmore ceased to hunt the Lumivaki, and we saw no need to anger him further. You didn't go after him? Okay. If you wish to visit the Lohikarme, you may do so yourself. You will find his lair far to the west, southeast of Jotunstath, the home of the Aluka, the ice giants, as you call them. Okay. Yeah, you're not going to help me, are you? Get there. So we're on our own, are we? And of course, it's way back there at Talvimuri. And of course, if I hadn't used my milestone, I could have milestoned over there, which would have been useful. Well, forget it. Who needs you? I'll just use your stable master and go back over to, what's it called again? Ziegelgund. That's where I'll go. Fine. All right. Okay, so we're going to jump off, slide down hills. Good thing we have no trouble with the bridges in Forakel, because, you know, if I were to Rivendell one of these bridges, the results would be awkward and painful. Okay, so Isuman, I hope that discussion helped a little bit, and thanks again for your question. That was really fun. Since I now have to go back all the way across Forakel, it would be, of course, the shortened day, right, in which I have to go hither and yon across Forakel, right? Well, it's fine. All right, very good. So we'll do another lore question. All right, sticking with the Númenórean theme. Okay, another Josh Ramsey question. In Book 6, when the eagle gives the news of Sauron's defeat to Gondor, it says he came bearing tidings beyond hope from the Lords of the West. That last phrase caught my eye, says Josh, because of the Lost Road's focus on the central phrase, the eagles of the Lords of the West are come upon Númenor. Did Tolkien intend the reference to the Valar there, or was he simply referring poetically to Aragorn et al.? Great question, Josh. Well, really, I mean, I would say fantastic observation, right? Because you're right, it does sound kind of conspicuous. Okay, so backing up. The denotation of the eagle's remarks, right? What the eagle means by that is clearly Aragorn et al., right? The Lords of the West are that's you know, they're collectively Aragorn and the other captains are the Lords of the West. But you're right, Josh, that's so again, that's clearly what is intended, what's the simple meaning of the passage. But Josh is absolutely correct that it's rather a conspicuous thing, right? The fact that phrase, the Lords of the West, is being used by an eagle, right, to the Númenóreans of Gondor, especially since just in the previous page, Faramir was remembering the downfall of Númenor, right? You know, when the darkness inescapable is coming and he's like, it reminds me of Númenor. I often dream of it, right? So here he is reflecting as like, oh, this moment reminds me of the downfall of Númenor. And then an eagle comes up and is like an eagle of the Lord of the West, right? Is upon them with good news, not bad news this time, right? Not a warning, but anyway, I think that there's a play going on there. I do not believe that Tolkien was deaf to that. I don't think that was a mistake. If he wrote it by accident, he had to. Just no way. I mean, because Josh, you're absolutely right. That phrase is too important. And what's more, we see there's more proof. It's not just that he wrote that a long time ago and forgot about it. It is still very present in his mind, because very soon after writing The Lord of the Rings, he's going to go back and write the Notion Club papers, which is his attempt to kind of revisit the Lost Road concept, the time travel novel that he began in the mid-30s, which was, in a sense, the origin of the Númenor story. He comes back to that in the Notion Club papers in the mid-50s, right after he finished it, well, as he's trying to get the Lord of the Rings published. And that phrase recurs there just as prominently and just as powerfully as in The Lost Road. So the Eagles of the Lords of the West, they were a thing. They're still totally a thing in Tolkien's mind. So yeah, I absolutely can't believe that he would have been deaf to that particular echo. Thus, if he didn't write it for that purpose, he left it in there for that purpose, especially in the immediate context of the memory of the downfall of Númenor. Okay, so if we don't dismiss that as coincidence, which I can't dismiss it as coincidence, then what? What do we do with it, right? So what? Okay, so there's seems to be this reference. Well, remember the immediate context, the reference to the fall of Númenor by Faramir, right? Faramir and Éowyn are looking out over to the east. They are expecting bad news. I mean, remember, nobody really thinks they're going to win. They don't have any chance of winning. Everybody knows they don't have any chance of winning, right? They've gone off to attack them, and although, people are trying to put a bold face on it, everybody knows that the guys who went out into the east to attack Mordor are going to die, right? I mean, as Imrahil says, right? That they should go forth with 7,000, scarce the vanguard, right, of its armies in its former strength, to assault Mordor is ridiculous, right? Everyone knows it's ridiculous. And remember the council about like the ring and the ring bearer, and let's draw, with Gandalf and Aragorn being like, as we have begun, so we should continue, and all that stuff. It's not like that's common knowledge, right? I mean, the random Gondorian on the street doesn't know why they're going to Mordor, and I would think would kind of have to think that it seems like a pretty bad idea. Suddenly, Grifflet is mired in a horse race, right? Oh, and Grifflet takes the lead. He's ahead by 2 lengths. By 3, he's pulling away. Oh, Grifflet for the win. Anyway, sorry. All of a sudden, like the Kentucky Derby is breaking out here in Foracal. So anyhow, so Faramir and Éowyn are waiting for doom. Neither of them really believes that neither of them are expecting a happy ending. So they see the shadow rise up, right? Which is, of course, we know already from having read it earlier. It's the shadow of Sauron as the Dark Tower has crumbled. That shadow arising in the east is a good sign, though it doesn't look like a good sign, right? So much so that it reminds him, Faramir, of Númenor, which of course is kind of cool, right? The shadow of Sauron looming over the land, just like Númenor, right? The Eagles of the Lords of the West were sent to Númenor as a warning, right? As a sign of their downfall and destruction. So you have what looks like the downfall of Gondor, right? It's all over. This is the moment. The shadow is coming, darkness inescapable, and we're toast. And then an eagle comes, right? And you got to think, Faramir, who's sitting there thinking Númenorian thoughts, Faramir has got to be thinking like, right, eagle, of course, right? And let me guess, the eagle's probably going to pop up, and it's like, look, it's the eagles of the Lords of the West, right? The eagles of the Lords of the West are here, and it's going to be awful, right? It's a confirmation of doom, but that's not it, right? Instead, you get another little mini eucatastrophe. It's not a mini eucatastrophe. It's the same scale of eucatastrophe, but we get a kind of a recapitulation of the eucatastrophe, right? So if you know the Numenor story, it makes it like 10 times more powerful, right? To Faramir, this looks like it's a recapitulation of Numenor. Now Gondor is going down as Numenor went down before it, under the shadow of Sauron, and presumably, to the wrath of the Valar, right? But no. Instead, the message that the eagles come to deliver is not of warning, right? It's not of doom, but of deliverance. And they come bearing a message of the triumph of the Lords of the West. And that phrase really, I think, so the kind of it's not exactly a pun, but the sort of the play, the double meaning of that word, it means, of course, Aragorn and the other captains, but of course it also points to the Valar as well, right? They have prevailed, right? And the king has conquered. If you think about it, there's even, again, thinking in that Númenorian mode, from that little mini Númenorian perspective, the venture of the king leading the Gondorians out on this rash and hopeless invasion is also like Númenor, right? Like Ar-Pharazôn leading the Númenorians on an invasion of Valinor, except this again is a reversal, right? You have Aragorn, the king, who is leading his people out in an attack of faith, right? Not believing they have any hope of victory, but going forth because it's what they should do, right? Whereas Ar-Pharazôn of the king of the Númenorians, was leading his army, which had just as small a chance of winning the battle that they set out to make, but his was not in humility, but in arrogance, right? And not in faith, but in defiance and pride. So again, you got the parallels, but the reversals, the way in which, and again, Josh, thanks again for your question. All these things are things that are really kind of crystallizing for me as I'm talking about them here. I'd never really thought it through quite this fully before, but once you point that one piece out, everything else just kind of falls into place, right? And the intricacy of the parallel to the Númenorian situation becomes more and more clear, and that's really cool. It's been really, really fun to think about. So yeah, awesome. I'm learning so much today. This is really neat. And I hope you don't think I'm being patronizing. I'm being totally serious. Half the time when I start talking about Tolkien stuff, I have no idea where I'm going to end up. And it's just one of those things. It's why I love teaching, I have to say. It's what, sometimes people will say, don't you get bored? I mean, you've been teaching courses on Tolkien and talking about Tolkien for years. I mean, I've been doing this Tolkien Professor gig for almost a decade now. I started my podcast 9 years ago. And so, a lot of people ask, don't you ever get bored, just sick of talking about Tolkien? Don't you get tired of going over the same stuff again and again and again? No. No, I don't. I never do. And the reason I don't, what I always tell people is because I learn so much from the questions that people ask and the ideas that I myself have never had. And whoa, who is that guy? Big super ice giant dude with a name. What are the odds I'm going to have to come after him eventually? Nah, probably a side quest. We can hope, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, I always learn so much from answering people's questions, and I love being sort of getting prompted to think about things that I've never thought about before and work through things that I've never really sat down and thought through before. So, I mean, the connection with Numenor from Faramir's speech and stuff is really obvious, but I never really thought it all the way through before. So, anyway, thanks. Oh, that's not an ice giant. It's a Gauradine boss, obviously. He's just painted with so much blue that he looks like he is in fact blue and giantish, but he's not. Okay, sorry. So this must be the place. Am I going to get inspiration this time? Unlike I did in the Barrows?
The champions of Eriador have been thwarted in their attempts to hinder Angmar's plans.
Right.
All that remains to them now is to keep Angmar from claiming the hide of the dragon Bregmore.
Keep them from claiming? Did he say cleaning the hide? Claiming, he must have said. Okay, dead Gauradine at the door. So the Angmarim killed them, presumably? So this is a place which was, what, a hideout of theirs? Or maybe a sacred place? And it's been taken over by Angmarim? Or what? Let's stealthify. See how many of these worms we can sneak past. Yeah, they were definitely fighting the worms, not the Angmarim, because there's a dead worm there too. So this was invaded, but who was invading whom? Oh, now we're eating corpses, huh? How about I sneak past you in smaller groups? What do you say? Yeah, you're coming over here. So now I'm going to sneak past you, because if one of you notices me, I don't want to fight all four of you at once. How does that sound? Okay, just three of you. Fine. I remember it. See, everybody, I didn't totally forget how to be a burglar. Not totally. Okay. We're sneaking. We're sneaking. Whoa. Is this a staring match between these two cave worms and that Gauradine raider? Is he defending his little totem shrine over there with the wolf skulls? Is this cave worm going to notice me? Oh, no, he's going to turn around. Okay. All right. You guys do your thing. Continue your stare off there. All right. Gate. Woohoo! Okay. I don't have permission to use the gate. Okay, I didn't want to use the gate anyway. All right. So we're stopping the Angmarim from... Oops. Hobbit flop. Nice. Excellent. There's Grifflet. Playing dead. It's awesome. I love it. Re-stealth. Okay. Maybe I can keep this up all day. All right. All right. Who's a good burglar, huh? Let's keep going. Can't go out the gate. We have to seek out and stop the Angmarim. I haven't found any Angmarim. Just Gauradine and worms. There they are. Ooh, what are you defending here? What is that? You've got your little totems over here. Is that a shrine? Is it a tent? Is it a very skinny wigwam? Is this a dead end? Magwan the Hunter? Am I meant to fight Magwan the Hunter? Are you guys going to make any progress in fighting each other? Probably not. Huh. Let's see. Not sure what I'm meant to do here. Because this does seem to be a dead end. Any other turns that I missed? I don't think so. Just the place that I couldn't go through the gate. Well, let's see. Let me try fighting these chaps. Hang on. I'm just going to have some fish. You guys keep up the good work there. Yeah. I'm going to do one of these. I'll do one of these. Yeah. That looks good. Oh, my food is running out. Hang on. Okay, yeah. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to pick a fight. Oh, I can't fight him? Can I fight him? No. They're invalid targets? Oh, that's not an invalid target. Okay. Oh, good. Well, if they'll keep fighting each other, that's lovely. This I could presumably keep up for some time. Okay. Yeah, what happened? You are a much stronger prey. I look forward to roasting you. Oh, wait, the worm is his. So the worm is coming at me. I see. I get the picture. But you're going to wait patiently. That's so kind. You know, Magwan, that's your name? All those things people say about you are totally unjustified. Yeah. You are a gentleman. You really are. Okay. I'm just going to take care of your little worm friends here. Now are you going to fight me? Yes, you are. Okay, this looks like progress then. I have to stun you here, though, if you don't mind. And I have to say, Magwan, though I hate to criticize, and you're probably very sensitive about this, but I don't think much of your outfit. I mean, look, the other Gauradine bosses have lots of, like, really nice blue mixed into their ensemble, and this like, dirty gray thing that you've got going on here. I mean, it's very Foricale, I get it. The people up here are less colorful than out in Evendim because, you know, snow camouflage. Like, I get it. Like, I understand that. But it looks like you're not even keeping yourself up. I mean, you really... Oops, didn't quite interrupt your induction in time there. But that's okay. I'm just afraid you're kind of letting yourself go here, Magwan. Or Malgon? I've been saying your name wrong. It's Malgon. Malgon? Like, hey, come back. Prey should not be so strong. Hey, come back. Where are you going? Should I follow you? Are you going to open the gate? You're going to open the gate. Hang on, gotta stealth myself. I'm coming. The pack must be told. Oh dear. You're going to tell the pack. Okay. Okay. Little earthquake. There he is. You're telling the pack? Don't tell me I have to fight you again. Come on, Morgan. You're gonna fight me with a whole bunch of backup now? That's your plan? That's your cowardly plan? Hey there. Yes, that is your plan. Well, that's kind of annoying. So I'm just going to have to kill your wolf friends first. And I know that seems rude. And I would apologize normally. But what am I meant to do here, after all? I mean, I only want so many maws ripping me to shreds. And I gotta think that's where... that seems to be what is kind of suggested by your own name. Now, look, I can't have this guy fighting me from missile range, right? While I'm attacking you, so... Come on, we must do something about that, obviously. So I'll stun him, right? And then see if we can't make some progress here. Okay. Yeah. No. These guys were not as much help as they looked maybe like being earlier on there, Morgon. Now it's back to you and me. See, now what did we accomplish, Morgon? Have we learned anything? Okay. Finish what you start, Morgon. That's really the moral of the story here. Boom! Oh, I believe I successfully interrupted your induction that time. I know that must be frustrating. And I would apologize if I were in any way sorry. But of course I don't happen to be. Anyway, so I guess the dragon I'm here to find is not the dragon I thought it was. So here I thought we were talking about the one in the Misty, you know, the one that I met, which is already a zombie, which would be awkward. Right. But it would have been kind of fun seeing the Angmarim trying to claim the hide off of an animated zombie dragon, right? Because that at least would have been good theater. And I hope I wasn't meant to have like intervened in that particular struggle, because that would have been super fun to watch. But no, I guess it's a totally different and unrelated dragon, which is fine. You know, we can have multiple dragons. I wonder if this dragon was a cold drake or not. That is, I mean, it lives in the cold, obviously, but boom! Ha! Got you again. Oh, you're going down this time. Thank you, sir, for not running away again. Okay, oh, look. I don't remember a single other cave instance like this that had ore, mineable ore in it. It seems weird. Whatever. Anyway, okay, let's stealthify. Dead end over here. Another one of those. Yeah, a whole bunch of wolves. Let's let sleeping wolves lie over there. And over here we go to Hika Spirit Master. Oh, now you have a little more blue. Is it because they save it for the shamans? Maybe it's an act of humility on the part of the captains to wear more shabby clothes and duller colors. This is another gate. This is another gate that you have to open, isn't it? Yeah, I can't just stealth around you. More wolves over there, which I don't really want to rouse. Okay. Come pack, there's prey to hunt. You're going to summon those wolves from down there. Yes, you are. Oops. Didn't get to interrupt you. Oh, good grief. So, in retrospect, I guess I should probably have killed them first. Didn't know he was going to summon them all, so let's change strategy. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is more manageable. Let's just kill you and your 4 dogs. How does that sound? I still have to tell you, I don't understand what the Gauradine are doing here. I thought this was an Angmarim kind of thing. I've yet to even see one Angmarim or the corpse of an Angmarim. So, not really sure what that's about. Does that mean they've gotten here already? Does it mean the Garadyne are just their servants and so only the Garadyne are left? It really looked at the beginning, that is at the opening of the cave, right, as if this were a Garadyne cave. And I mean, it still looks like it. I mean, see, notice how we have got the, we've got the tusks set up there, right? This is clearly not just like a dragon cave, which has been invaded recently by the Garadyne. It's obviously a Garadyne cave. What then is the point exactly? That is, what is meant to be happening here? So, this is where the dragon lives, or where it used to live. I don't know. Like I say, I'm not totally sure. I'm following the plot of this instance. I mean, I know it's been mostly combat, but that's what I mean. There's still a plot. Okay. What am I doing? Stealth. I'm gonna go kill those other two wolves, so that I can just focus on Hiccup and his small posse of wolves. Yeah. Hey, White Wolf. Okay. Yep, that's great. Thank you for your cooperation. I have to have a little divide and conquer action here. I was going to try to leave you alive, really. I did not want to have to do this. But, you know, my hand's been kind of forced here. All right. Back to Hiccup. Okay. Okay, I don't think I interrupted your second induction there, buddy. Hope you didn't do anything particularly nasty. Ferocious White Wolf. Really? Just one? Yeah, sure is a good thing I got rid of the other ones. Whoa. Why am I in my character sheet? Darn it! The prey should not kill, the prey should be killed. Well, maybe I'm not the prey, huh? Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think this is a case of mistaken identity? Another wolf. Okay, whatever you're doing with the green thing, I don't want any part of it. Let me kill your stupid wolves. Knock it off, I'm telling you. Boy, all you do is inductions. Another wolf. Honestly. Knock it off with the green stuff. Okay. Oh, darn it, I can't interrupt you this time. I'm just going to ignore your wolves for now, because you're going to keep conjuring them, and I'm never going to get you dead if I keep doing that. Now that I've gauged the pace by which you... And I take it back. Your outfit isn't really much prettier than the other guy. You've got a little bit of blue. I like the bone work around your middle there. You know, that's kind of nice. But really, on the whole, you still just look grungier than the other guys. I don't know what's up with that. It's kind of sad. It's like, do the Garadyne have Foricau? Or are they just like the ones that are like challenged with a fashion sense. Yeah, he had a page of the knee breakers manual. Oh, you know, those things turned up in the darndest places. Okay. Oh, just a few more white wolves. Yeah. Maybe in the meantime this wolf can explain to me what he's doing here and why there are Gauradane and where the Angmarim are and... Oh, look! More friends! Oh, how refreshing! Some wolves! What a lovely change of pace. Okay. I wonder if I hid in plain sight again, if I could just stealth past them all. You know, probably, maybe. But it's all right. We're doing fine. Whew. Now, what time is it? Gotta watch my clock here. Okay. Ooh! Oh no! Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. It's 2 o'clock. I'm meant to have stopped. And I'm fighting wolves forever and a day. Okay. I'd better sign out. Because it's I gotta let the other people go here. I will figure out what we will do next time. Could not get through. I didn't realize quite exactly how much wolf killing was going to be involved here in this instance. My apologies for the unexpected quantity of time here. So we'll return to this instance next time. In the meantime, I will sign off so people who are wanting to go next can go. Thanks everybody for joining me. I really appreciate your joining me, and I will see you guys next week with a report from my visit to Turbine. And don't forget, next Thursday, September 15th at 2 p.m. To join us for that stream. So thanks very much, everybody. Bye now.